ancient paintings of strange, human-like figures, rocks engraved thousands of years ago with images of flying machines, and stone carvings of what appear to be astronauts. For more than a decade, Ancient Aliens has traveled the globe to examine some of the most extraordinary and mysterious rock art ever discovered. Now, we're investigating the top alien petroglyphs that just may hold the proof that Earth has been visited by extraterrestrials. Northwestern Australia. Here, in a rugged desert region known as Kimberley, are dozens of caves that are covered in paintings of mysterious figures called the Wandjina.
You look at these Wandjina figures in the cave art. They have big white faces. They have really no mouth to speak of. They have very large black eyes, and there's a field around their heads.
To the Aboriginal people who have lived in Australia for thousands of years, the Wandjina are important figures in their creation myths.
The Aboriginals have all kinds of ancient stories of Wandjina figures, of great heroes and sky gods who manipulated the continent, created the rivers and mountains, and fought amongst each other, and then they left.
We all have stories of people in crafts, coming from the stars, going to the stars, and so on. In order to keep them, pass them down to the next generation, we carved them, we painted them, we sang them, we danced them in stories to guarantee that they passed down. So when the visitors left, we didn't forget about them, and we never forget about the things that they passed down to us and the knowledge they passed down.
In many ways, these Wandjina figures look exactly like gray aliens. And you have to wonder then if the cave art is depicting extraterrestrials.
The Wandjina petroglyphs are actual physical representations of what the First Nation people of Australia actually witnessed. So this, to me, is an incredible treasure trove for the ancient astronaut theory. Of all the mysterious petroglyphs we've examined on ancient aliens, some of the most astounding can be found in the American Southwest. The region is chock full of carvings that show strange humanoid figures who came down from the sky.
9 Mile Canyon, eastern Utah. Often described as the world's longest art gallery, the red sandstone cliffs that border this 46-mile-long canyon are covered with more than 10,000 petroglyphs. Many depict hunting scenes and contain images of animals found in the region. But one mysterious panel seems oddly out of place.
One of the most important galleries is referred to as the family panel. What's interesting about this one is that it shows these apparently luminous, humanoid-type beings that appear to have spacesuits on, a helmet, even antenna.
The Navajos themselves claim that these petroglyphs were from people who were before the flood, before this cataclysm had come to the earth, and they maintain that these images were many thousands of years old.
Just 70 miles south of 9 Mile Canyon, in Sago Canyon, another panel of petroglyphs shows nearly identical figures.
They look like spacemen. You have these strange creatures that, for all intents and purposes, seem to be floating up in the sky. They appear to wear helmets. Very strange.
So you have to ask, what was it that inspired these unusual images? Is it possible that they depict sky beings who came down from the stars to help the people, which is what the native legends say?
According to the traditions of the Navajo, Fremont, and Ute peoples, who have lived in this area for centuries. These figures represent visitors who descended from the sky.
In talking about star people, all Native American tribes have these traditional oral histories that people came from the stars to visit them. And it's universal all across the United States that these gods, as we call them today, came to Earth and visited to provide knowledge.
The creation story, you understand it correctly. We are all from the cosmos. Our ancestors were extraterrestrial. The story is told to indigenous people for thousands of years through oral history and through the petroglyphs and pictographs and the sacred sites that continue to be part of our native cultural traditions.
The Native Americans traditionally use a oral tradition. Everything is spoken. The oral traditions actually go back thousands of years. It's just the way it was, and we've maintained that tradition even to this day.
If, in fact, what we're seeing are portraying visitors from the stars, it would make sense why they're wearing these spacesuits, because they would conceivably need protection from Earth's atmosphere and Earth's environment.
Do the petroglyphs at 9 Mile Canyon and Sago Canyon point to Utah being a place of ancient alien visitation?
Native American people have been very clear when they speak of celestial beings that imparted knowledge. And so if you compare that to the ancient astronaut theory, that's exactly what it talks about, that the knowledge was imparted by beings who visited us. While Utah has thousands of petroglyphs that feature mysterious beings, one stands apart. It depicts a group of figures meeting with what appears to be an extraterrestrial.
Horseshoe Canyon, Utah. Located within Canyonlands National Park, the sandstone walls of this 5-mile-long ravine feature some of the most remarkable petroglyphs in the United States. The intricate designs depict Native American shamans and the otherworldly creatures they claimed to communicate with.
Well, here we have a classic shaman with the hourglass figure, feet pointed outward, arms which have bird's feet at the end, which signify spirituality, and it's got the horns with the fringes coming out.
But one section is of particular interest to ancient astronaut theorists. It's called the ghost panel.
When you see the ghost panel, you see what are 7 or 8 very tall figures in unusual garments. They look like spacesuits. They're wearing some long robes, and it looks like they have helmets and things on. They're quite large and very strange looking. And certainly they look like some kind of spacemen or extraterrestrials who have come down.
For researchers, the most perplexing part of the painting is a curious detail on the large central figure.
The central ghost-like figure, which is called the Holy Ghost. If you look at the head of the Holy Ghost, you'll see his 2 eyes in the front of his face, but if you look to the left, you'll see the side of his head. This is a device which you do not see in any prehistoric art. And this motif is one of the reasons why I feel that this represents an event.
Archaeologists suggest the ghost panel was created 10,000 years ago. Just who made these images remains a mystery. But ancient astronaut theorists believe clues can be found within ancient traditions.
The Navajo, they tell us that this rock art was actually created by their ancestors who lived there long, long ago and in fact were the survivors of a flood. The Navajo referred to themselves as descendants of the holy people, and that these holy people in fact helped them emerge after a cataclysm.
The story of mysterious humanoid beings assisting native peoples has been recounted for centuries in the American Southwest. Many researchers believe these encounters were so significant that they were carved in stone.
For hundreds of years, the Native Americans who lived in that area called the ghost panel the panel of the star people. Clearly, they are strangers of some kind to these people. And if that's what it was, then we might assume that they are depicting extraterrestrials.